It's Ash from SuperVideos back for another live stream Q&A. It's been a while, but we're finally back with another Q&A session. Hopefully people will be able to join because it was a bit of a last minute announcement. Let me know in the chat if you can see me and hear me good before we jump into the questions. I see there's some questions already on the chat. We'll just give it a few minutes for more people to join here before we get into it. But just let me know if you can hear me good before we get started. And hopefully that'll drive up traffic. More people will join before we start. Everything's looking solid on my end. So I think everything's good, but we'll give it a minute or two and then start answering the questions. And as you can tell by the thumbnail and the title, it's a mix of Walking Dead and The Last of Us questions. There was a lot of interesting news for The Last of Us video game recently, so if you're interested in talking about that, we could also talk about that. And of course, we can talk about The Walking Dead, which is what we usually talk about in these live streams. Okay, I think I'm gonna start. No one's really said there's a problem, they can't hear me or see me, so I'm assuming everything's good. So we'll jump into the questions here. Nick Wildfan 26. Do you think they'll have Annie come back and we'll see her in season 2 of Dead City? Very good question, and I just did like a video on that. I did like yesterday or 2 days ago. I think in terms of whether I think it'll happen, I don't know, but I hope it happens. I think that to give us a good ending to Negan's story with his wife that they started on The Walking Dead's original show, she needs to come back. Like, what we got is not enough. It's a lazy way to write her out of the story, you know what I mean? And I'm assuming what happened is that she wasn't available to be in season 1 of Dead City. That's why they had to come up with that story. I doubt that that was their original plan, to write her story like that, you know? Even if it was, we probably would have seen like a flashback with her, you know what I mean? So I feel like where we are right now, we need to see something with her. I hope that she comes back in season 2 and, you know, they'll give it a good give her a good story as far as wrapping up her story with Negan, especially because now it's not just Negan and Annie, it's Negan, Annie, and their kid, Joshua. So there's a lot you can do with that. There's a lot of potential story there when you're thinking about Maggie, Herschel, and all of that. So there's a lot of possibilities, a lot of, you know, ways that they could give us a satisfying story, but we haven't seen that yet. So because of that, I have I hope that they'll bring her back in season 2 and she'll get the proper send-off, if she gets a send-off, or just stay permanently. That was a loaded answer to your question. Anyway, next question you have is, do you see the Croat dying at the end of season 1? Will he be a villain in season 2? Speaking of which, quickly, I haven't watched the next episode, which came out in AMC Premiere. I'm planning to watch that Sunday, so I'm asking everyone not to give me spoilers from the next episode. I know that's not a spoiler for the next episode. I'm just saying because I remembered that I didn't say it. So don't ask me anything about next episode because I haven't watched it. But hopefully we'll do more of these live Q&As the next bit, so that if there's anything for the next few episodes you want to ask, you can join and ask. But to answer your question, I think it's really tough to say. I mean, the story with the Croat that we have right now, it seems like it'll be resolved in one season, because it doesn't look like there's enough substance there. Like, there's enough substance for one season, but they haven't really set up anything more. is a possibility they could do that. And I did a video on that already, like yesterday, when it comes to the Croat and how he could, kind of how his story could be. But I feel like right now where we are, it's rough, it's tough to say, but I'm 50-50. I mean, it's very likely that he'll survive season 1 and he'll be another, or a villain going into season 2, but I could also see them just killing him off at the end of season 1. It all depends on what the story they have written is and how far it goes. I would like to see him stay on and develop as a villain. I feel like he's a good villain, but he's a kind of standard and surface level villain, if you know what I mean. He doesn't have a lot of layers to his story and his character. So I hope that he stays on and we get a bit more. Jose Hernandez, AMC confirmed that the panels for this year's Comic-Con is Daryl Dixon, Rick and Michonne, and Fear Season 8B. Yeah, I heard that, and I heard that the official titles for the Rick and Michonne show and the Daryl show are that, the Daryl Dixon show and Rick and Michonne. So that's interesting. I'll do another video on that in the next couple days. But I did hear that. I mean, it makes sense. Like, what else do they have coming up? I'm surprised that Dead City is not on there. But the rest makes sense. I wish that Fear just ends so we don't have to worry about it, because it's been just cringe. But, I mean, it is what it is. The final 8 episodes, let's just get it over with. But, yeah, it makes sense that those would be the panels. And I heard it's like a joint panel, so that's also interesting. But, yeah, the only thing I'm surprised at is that there's no Dead City panel. If you're here, just make sure to smash the like button if you enjoy the stream so far. And if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to join our community. There's a lot of good stuff coming up on the channel. We have a new series on the channel for Walking Dead and Last of Us, where we compared the two, or I compared the two from different angles. First episode came out like last week. It was about the world building and like the environment and all of that. If you're interested, check it out. The next episode is coming out, I think, on the 16th. And that's about the characters and story. So I'll dive deep into that a little bit. There's 4 episodes in total, and they'll come out like every 2 weeks. Episode 3 is gonna be on horror and like thrills, chills, and all of that, like how well the 2 series do that. And we're talking about the adaptations on AMC and HBO, not the original source material. But that takes me to the last episode, which is the 4th, which is gonna be about the adaptation, how well they adapted the 2 series into TV shows. So if you're interested, definitely check it out and subscribe to stay up to date about the uploads for those. Next question from Nick Wildfan 26. Do you think them doing Joel's death from part 2 in season 2 is a bad idea? For Last of Us, I mean, depends how they do it. It could be a bad idea if they do it the same way and Joel dies in like the first 2 episodes. But if they pace it properly and they layer the story properly and they give us some kind of changes in terms of how everything comes together, then no, it won't be a bad idea. But if they adapt it the same way, then it would be a bad idea. And it's not, there's 2 parts to it. One is the game story a lot of fans had problems with, like part 2 and how it came together. I had a problem with it as well. But that's one part of it. The other part of it is, even if it was the greatest story in the game, the way it came together, replicating it the same way for TV might not really work. So because of that, they need to be very clever how they bring the story from The Last of Us Part 2 into the TV adaptation. Walking Dead Eternal. What do you think of season 1 so far? Of Dead City, I'm assuming you mean. It's good. I mean, it's definitely the best spin-off we've had for The Walking Dead. The first couple episodes have been, I would say, even better than a lot of season 11 episodes when it comes to pacing and being entertaining. But with that said, I feel like for a 6-episode series, we're at a point where we need some more substance. Like, it was good, but it feels like it's been set up so far. We need some payoff. We need some actual like story to come together, if you know what I mean. So it's been good, but I hope that we get some more, because it feels like it's been set up. We need setup, but it feels like now we should just see some actual like story, like proper story being built. You know what I mean? Not that they haven't built the story, but it's tough to explain. But what I mean is they need to give us some satisfying conclusions to some of the loose ends that they've been setting up. You know what I mean? Jose Hernandez, do you see Dwight and Sherry, or do you think Dwight and Sherry could show up in Dead City season 2? Yes, I could. Especially with the way their story ended in Fear. Not ended, but where things were left with their story. But I do think Dwight and Sherry will be in the last 8 episodes of Fear, but I have a feeling not both are going to survive. But the person that does survive will probably make their way to season 2 of Dead City. Walking Dead Eternal. Joel better not die. I'm getting used to his character. He's my favorite character. Yeah, he's definitely a pretty solid character, but I would say in the game. In the TV show, not so much. That's not because of the actor. Pedro Pascal did an amazing job so far. It's just about translation. Like, his story and his character didn't translate enough to the TV show. So I feel like they need to do a better job at that in season 2 of The Last of Us. Oh, I think I missed one. Nick Wild Fan 26. How long do you think Armstrong lasting? Do you think he'll make it to season 2? Armstrong, the bounty hunter, or the marshal, right? Tough to say, but I think I could see him as a character that survives. But then again, we need some deaths in season 1. Not that we need it, but it would help if we have some interesting and cool deaths. So they might have him go, because they can't do that to Negan or Maggie or the Croat if they want to continue his story. The only people that could really get it are Ginny, Herschel, and Armstrong, right? So out of those 3, I feel like least risky would be Armstrong. Or Ginny, that could work too. Walking Dead Eternal, I read that one actually. Nick Wildfan 26. Do you think after Fear ends, they'll take Madison and the remaining characters and add them to the other shows? Not all of them, but some. And not right away. I feel like long term, some might return, but not right away. But not all characters. I feel like some characters are just gonna go out and we won't even hear about them ever again. Like Madison is probably one that might return later, but not right away. Same with like Dwight or Sherry, like I said earlier. But like a character like Luciana and June and some of the others, I feel like they're not unique and interesting enough characters to remain. Nothing against the actors and actresses, just the characters themselves. They're not interesting enough to move from one to the other. Like, they didn't even do much with them in Fear. You know what I mean? Jose Hernandez. Norman Reedus teased that the Daryl Dixon will be very different and have a romantic feel. And we will see Paris, catacombs, and the people Daryl meets. Will give him a new perspective. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I disagree with the romantic part. We don't need that. It's The Walking Dead. It needs to be dark, gritty. So I hope that we don't get into like a rom-com sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense for that to be the direction they go with things, to make it feel fresh. The sneak peek that we got already feels fresh, and for the good reasons, or for all the good reasons. I feel like, unlike any other Walking Dead, the Daryl show is cinematic and kind of artistic. You know what I mean? Something that we don't really see on The Walking Dead. So that's definitely a good change of pace and a good direction that they're going with that. Jose Hernandez, we're probably going to get a 30-second teaser for Rick and Michonne at Comic-Con. I mean, we're definitely gonna get a either sneak peek or a trailer or teaser. I don't know about 30 seconds. I hope that it's more than 30 seconds, but we'll see. I mean, think about it. How long have we waited for the Rick show or the Rick movie, whatever? A long time. So after all of that time, we need more than a 30-second teaser. Come on. Nick Wildfan 26. Ash said no spoilers for episode 4. Yeah, please, no spoilers for episode 4 of Dead City. I haven't watched yet. So what I've decided is for Walking Dead shows, I'm watching them on Sunday, like we would usually do before AMC Premiere. Like, I have AMC Premiere, and sometimes I watch early if I can, but I try to just watch Sundays. And the reason for that is because I'm doing content and videos, watching early just creates a lot of overhead and a lot of unnecessary stuff. Like, when I watch, there's videos I want to do on it, but I'm like, people haven't watched, so I can't do some videos. If I do, titles, thumbnails have to be a certain way. So I've decided to just watch Sunday. Early Sundays, obviously. That's why AMC Premiere is good, because I can watch in the morning. Watch it on Sunday. Then I don't have to worry about any of that. I know everyone's most likely watched it, and I can just put out videos that I need to put out. And if I need to watch early, I'll watch early and kind of wait till Sunday to post it. Something like that. That just helps plan things better for me. But yeah, no spoilers for episode 4. I haven't watched. Walking Dead Eternal. Sorry, I didn't see that. My bad, Ash. No worries. I didn't even see your message. You retracted it in time. I didn't see it. So, good. Giuseppe DeRosa and Ash live stream. No, it's not live. I'm kidding. Yeah, we're live. It's been a while, but we're here. We're live. Crazy. I can't remember the last time we had a stream. It was like 2 months ago. Dead City is the first solid Walking Dead spinoff. Absolutely. All of that was from Giuseppe. And yeah, absolutely. Dead City is definitely the strongest and probably the long one that we'll get. Because, well, excluding Fear. I can't even put myself in a position where I compare things with Fear. Fear is just, it feels like 5 different shows. So, 7 seasons of Fear that we've had, that feels like, it's been 7 seasons, right? I think so. That feels like 5-6 different shows. So, yeah. World Beyond was like 2 seasons. And just one sec. It seems like we have some delays. Yeah, stream froze. Okay, I think we're back. Hopefully we're back. Stream had a bit of a glitch. I think we're back. Let me know. I restarted the stream, but let me know if we're good before I continue. Hopefully we're good. Let me know if we're back, because stream had a hiccup, so I'm gonna pause and see if things are back. Give me a thumbs up, chat, if everything's back. I think we're back, but I'll wait a few minutes. Give me thumbs up, chat, if we're back. I think we're back. Hopefully. But as I was saying, yeah, so World Beyond was like 2 seasons only, and Fear is crap, so we won't even bring that into conversation. So from spin-off perspective, yeah, not Fear. Dead City is definitely the most solid spin-off we've got. Nick Wild Fan, 26. It sucks what's happened to Fear. It used to be good, but then it turned into a bad one, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, things started going downhill after like season 4. I've had problems with the first 3 seasons of Fear, but looking at it now, it's gold. Like the first 3 seasons compared to the shit that it turned into were gold. And it's unfortunate, like you said. Jose Hernandez, Dead City's giving me Resident Evil 2 vibes. Yeah, absolutely. Here's the thing. When I watch Dead City, I get vibes like Resident Evil vibes. I get Last of Us vibes. I get original Walking Dead vibes. So it's good because it gives us a bit of everything. And it's smooth. And it's kind of organic the way that they do things. So I'm loving Dead City. I mean, I don't have too much to complain about, other than hopefully getting more into details of the story and kind of getting into more stuff. All right. I think I'm caught up with the questions, so we'll wait for more questions to pop up here. While we're waiting, something I talked about earlier with the Walking Dead and Last of Us comparison that we have, like the series we have where we compare them. So I want to talk a little bit about that actually, because because that was originally something that was supposed to be a different project, but it just didn't go anywhere, and I decided to turn it into what it is now. But originally, that was actually supposed to be part of a series I was gonna start called Chat Apocalypse, or Chatpocalypse, I should say, which might still be in the works long term, but as of now, it's on hold really. And what Chatpocalypse was supposed to be is, it was supposed to be like an actual show, like season 1 with like 5 episodes, season 2, stuff like that. And each season was supposed to be a collaboration project where we talk about apocalyptic stories, TV, movie, video games. Season 1 was supposed to be what I had with Last of Us versus Walking Dead, and it was supposed to be like 4 episodes, and it was supposed to be a collaboration with Ronnie Hayes from Make It Path Presents. But timelines and our schedules didn't work, so because of that we had to cancel that. But I did still want to put out the story, or not the story, the series the way it is right now. The reason for that is because I feel like if I waited longer, people would not really care as much, because we just got season 1 of Last of Us like last year. So I wanted it to be out when it's more fresh than waiting later. But with that said, we're probably going to come back to that discussion with the 2 series, comparing them later, and it'll definitely be part of the Chatpocalypse series that we have. And I'm hoping that there'll be a lot of cool collaborations coming up with that. But right now, there was a lot of things coming up for me as well that prevented me from being able to push that along. But yeah, something to look forward to for the future for the channel for sure. Nick Wild Fan 26. So far, I've been enjoying The Walking Dead City. It's been a solid show so far. Yeah, it absolutely has been. And like I said, it's been one of the best Walking Dead spin-offs we've had. And some episodes, some scenes I should say, have been some of the best Walking Dead scenes that we've seen in a long time. And it's crazy that all of them were... what am I doing here? 1 second. I think I'm clicking weird places. Okay, there we go. And I was saying that all of the scenes are Negan scenes. So that tells you something about the character and the actor. Jose Hernandez, do you think Michonne will tell Rick about Whispers when they reunite? I think so, because think about it. Michonne doesn't even know the Whispers are dealt with. She doesn't. So, yes, absolutely. Why wouldn't she? I mean, she probably knows because Judith probably wrote letters to her. But it's going to come up so because it's fresh in her mind. I'm assuming. Nick Wildfan 26. How'd you feel about Last of Us Part 1 PS5 remake they made? I didn't get it, and I didn't play the remake. I think it was unnecessary. I mean, for that price, it was unnecessary. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, if it was like $30-40, I might have got it, but for that price, there was no way I was going to get it. And plus, I played the remastered version on PS4, like, in 2019, like 3 years ago, 3 years ago. More, 4 years ago now, I think. So, it was like, does it make sense for me to get that? You know what I mean? Like, I know that the visuals are better, like the graphics, but that's it. That's about it. Jose Hernandez, do you think they'll change some of the Last of Us Part 2 storylines in Season 2? I think they need to. I mean, some of it, they are forced to change because it doesn't translate properly into the TV show. some of it they're gonna need to tweak, and some of it they're just gonna need to drop because it was already bad in the game, the way that it happened. Nick Wild Fan 26. You gotta buy Last of Us Season 1 on DVD or Blu-ray this month. Maybe, we'll see. I mean, I don't plan on it, but we'll see. If it's got a good cover, I haven't seen the cover. If it's got a cool cover, if I'm feeling like I can waste a couple $100, I might get it. I don't think it'll be a couple $100. Maybe like $50-$60, maybe. But no plans, but maybe. Animated Alex, sup bro? How are you, Animated Alex? Glad you could join this stream. And then you ask, what do you think of Dead City? I think it's cool. The best Walking Dead spin-off we've gotten. And I'm loving Negan and Maggie's story. Walking Dead Eternal. World Beyond was good at some point. Not really. We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that. The only part that World Beyond was good was some stuff with Jadis. That was it. And some reveals with CRM, but that was it. Overall, it gets like 2 out of 10 for me. Animated Alex, damn, it's been a while since we had one of these streams. Yes, it's been a long time. But we're finally here on the stream. And we'll go for like an hour. Hopefully we'll do more of these streams. I know I said that last stream, which was like 2 months ago, and we never did one after that until now, but hopefully we'll do more. I mean, to be honest though, it's hard to say I'm gonna do a stream here because it's been busy recently, so I can't really just do a stream every Friday. So when I decide I have time for a stream, the announcement comes late, so there's a chance people might not show up. So because of that, it's a little tricky. This one I'm surprised people joined as many as they did because it was last minute announcement. So I mean, stay tuned. We'll hopefully see more streams. We'll see. Walking Dead Eternal, that's what I mean about the Jada stuff and the reveals. Yeah, that's the only thing that was good about World Beyond. Like, I didn't care about any of the other characters. Like, who cares about the kids? So the only thing that was really interesting was the CRM details. Some of the stuff they revealed, which wasn't even too much, just barely enough to get us going. And obviously, Jada's showing up helped a lot. Nick Wild Fan 26. Do you think they'll announce Dead City Season 2 at San Diego Comic-Con? Didn't they announce that already, that it's green lit? But if they haven't, I thought they did. But yeah, definitely. Animated Alex, I'm glad we got to see Evil Negan come back again. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And it's a mix of Evil Negan and a redeemed Negan, so it's in between, so that's good. I like that. If you've seen like episode 2, I think it was called Who's There, you know what I mean. Like it's a slippery slope. With Maggie, it's redeemed Negan, but with the enemy, it's evil Negan, so that's kind of cool and fun to watch. Walking Dead Eternal. Huck got on my nerves on some episodes. Absolutely. You know who got on my nerves more? It was Hope and whatever her sister's name is. Those two girls. They annoyed the hell out of me. And you just reminded me. World Beyond had some of the worst like scenes with the girls. Because it's like... Are you... It's like the writers thought that the audience is stupid. You know what I mean? And that's what really annoyed me. Like the realism was so bad, it was like a stretch. Like it was a stretch. The things that they did in that series. Animated Alex, completely understandable, bro. If you want to take a long time to stream again, take all the time you need. Yeah, I mean, I'll try to do more, but this is what I don't want to do. I don't want to say I'm gonna do it and then cancel every time. You know what I mean? So I rather say I don't know until I know for sure, like 100%, like this, or I just won't say. You know what I mean? Because if I say I'm gonna do a stream, and there's like 20 people waiting, or 20 people that are waiting to see it after, and then it doesn't come out, what's the point? I'm sure it's gonna annoy and piss off a lot of people. So that's why I'm not gonna do that. Animated Alex, Negan used his evil for good this time. Yeah, exactly. Walking the Eternal, it did feel rushed. Not sure what that's referring to, but I think you mean like with World Beyond, right? Nick Wildfan 26. So far, even though it's supposed to be a Negan and Maggie show, most people seem to focus on Negan more than Maggie. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's be real. If it was just presented and it was just a Maggie show, if it was the same thing but just with Maggie, take away everything with Saviors, Negan, take all of that out, it wouldn't have been as good of a show. You know what I mean? Honestly. And I think if it was just Maggie, less people would have tuned in. I feel. I could be wrong. And I like Maggie. She's a great character. Like the actress, like the character, but I'm just saying, Negan is what brought people to that city. Animated Alex, the CRM soldiers also were so weak in World Beyond. Like, how did they even make it this far in the apocalypse if they lost the kids? Yeah, absolutely. Like, the CRM portrayal in World Beyond was like, this organization can't be as big as it is. Like, it's a what do you call it? Like, it's a prank. It's a prank. They pranked Rick. Because there's no way. Or not Rick. They pranked Jadis, I should say. And then Jadis pranked Rick. Because there's no way. There's no way that the organization, like they were presented, to be this secretive, to be this organized, were this clumsy and incompetent, you know? It doesn't make sense. Walking Dead Eternal. Yeah, World Beyond felt rushed. Yeah, it definitely did. And I feel like it wasn't supposed to be what it was. It was supposed to be one season that leads into the Rick movie, right? That's what it was supposed to be, I feel. But after a few episodes that they started filming, and like they had the story for, obviously, but after they filmed, they got to a point where they knew the Rick movie wasn't going to happen, and they knew that World Beyond wasn't going to go far, so, and they couldn't take things back because they've already filmed stuff, they've already wasted the budget. So what they did was they went, let's just finish this season and not really push it towards what we need to push it towards, which is the Rick stuff. Let's just stall the story till the end of season 1, and then season 2 they're like, now let's just wrap it up, let's bring Jadis in to satisfy fans a bit, and then that's it. I feel like that's exactly what happened. Like, I could be wrong, but I feel like I'm 99% there in terms of what happened with World Beyond. Animated Alex, now that I think about it, same with the Commonwealth. They have 50,000 people and lost to like 5 people. Yeah, Commonwealth too. Like, the Commonwealth in the comics is bad. Like it felt rushed. Same with the show. The show did it a bit better, but still rushed. But I mean, 50,000 people, right? A community with 50,000. Every Commonwealth community picture from the show was like the main station or around it or that main location where they throw parties. It's like that's literally just one street, 3 buildings, and that's it. Is that 50,000 people live in that place? Doesn't make sense. So yeah, I completely agree with you. Walking Dead Eternal, Jadis with her chill bowl style, bowl hairstyle. Yeah, absolutely. The best thing that happened to World Beyond was Jadis. And Jadis wasn't even top 10 in The Walking Dead as far as a character. Animated Alex, Commonwealth must have brought their armor from Dollar Tree or something. Yeah. It felt like that. I will say though, making Daryl a Commonwealth soldier was good. Like, it was cool. I liked that. Honestly. What they did with Negan and the Commonwealth, the ending, I really dig that too. That was cool too. The variant walkers, I'm not a fan of, because I feel like it's too late. Like, it feels out of nowhere if you have variant walkers. So, I'm not a fan of that. But I like the other stuff that I mentioned. Alright, so we've been going for like how long? 44 minutes. So we'll go for another maybe 15 minutes, and that'll be the end of the stream. It's been a great stream so far. Again, if you've been enjoying the stream, don't forget to smash that like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to join our community. We have some good content coming up for Walking Dead, Last of Us, and the two together with the series. So stay tuned for that. In the future, we have a new series which is going to come up, but that's long term, but that's called Chatpocalypse. It's going to be a series of collaboration projects that I'm planning to do. So that's great stuff. That's going to be on the channel as far as planned later. So we have some great stuff coming up on the channel. Walking Dead Eternal. They looked like Star Wars stormtroopers. Yeah, they did. Well, in the comics they did too, so we can't really blame the show for that. Animated Alex. Ironically, the least liked character was the best part of World Beyond. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The worst, or one of the worst Walking Dead characters, Jadis, was the best character on World Beyond. Alright, so not a lot of questions are coming in. It's slowed down, so we'll go for maybe a few more minutes. Animated Alex, how long do you think the Croat was with Negan? It seems like he was with him for a while. Yeah, I mean, they didn't specifically say, but I want to say maybe a year or two, maybe. He was definitely not there when the war started, or right before the war. And that was like 3 years into the apocalypse, right? I think so. So he wasn't there then. So I'm assuming he was there briefly at the beginning and then he left or was forced out by Negan. I'll be honest, I got very emotional seeing Rick knowing now he tried getting back to his people and literally couldn't. That was emotional. Walking Dead Eternal. Yeah, I mean, that was good. But here's the thing with Rick. They need to be very clever how they explain why the CRM hasn't killed him, why they need him, why Rick hasn't returned. They need to be very, very clever how they explain that. Because if they slip even a little bit in that explanation, it's going to come off as forced and it's going to lose its connection. Like, fans are going to lose their connection, I should say, to that story, because those are key points in us, like, in the fans feeling connected to that story. You know what I mean? Most fans, I should say. Not all, but most fans. Alright, rapid fire Q&A. We'll go for maybe 2 minutes of rapid fire questions, and if you don't know what we mean by rapid fire questions, these are questions that I can answer in like 30 seconds. So ask your rapid fire questions and then we'll be done with the stream in like 2-3 minutes. Walking Dead Eternal. And Daryl's way off course to where Rick is. LOL. Yeah, absolutely. France? Yeah, absolutely. Animated Alex. Crazy to think Walking Dead Season 1 and 8 happened close to each other, timeline-wise. Season 1 and 8 happened close to each other, timeline-wise. Isn't it? Season 1 and 8, aren't they like 3-4 years apart? So it's not that close, but yeah, I get what you mean. The timeline of The Walking Dead has been one that's been super off. Like, it's been conflicting everywhere, right? I did like a couple videos on that, and I get it from the Walking Dead video, like Wikia, the official Walking Dead Wikia. And some of it, it's like, it doesn't make sense. So I have to make it make sense. And even with that, fans are like, this doesn't make sense. I'm like, that's literally them saying it. I'm not saying any of this myself. That's why I stopped doing those. I was planning on doing more of those, but it doesn't line up properly sometimes, and you just lose your mind trying to put it together. And fans, like, they blame you for it being wrong. So you lose your credibility. So it's like, I didn't write this, they did. Anyway. Animated Alex, the timeline is very clunky and sloppy. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And you wouldn't really know until you dig deep and you put it together. Because when you do, you're like, so are you telling me that this character could be in 2 places at once? Alright, so that's the end of the stream. We'll go with one final question from Animated Alex, and that'll be the end. Better keep our sanity while we can, Ash. Don't want to overthink the timeline. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to not even think about the timeline anymore. If it doesn't make sense, just go with it. But yeah, that's it for the stream. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you hopefully on the next one soon, but we'll see. But stay tuned. There's a lot of great content coming up on the channel you don't want to miss, so stay tuned for that. But that's it. I'm out.